What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Phase 6, your source for music, business, motivation, and support. It's your boy, Sirr Love. It's another topic. We're continuing on with the series talking about contracts and talking about deals and trying to break down basic things for people from a high level so you can understand what the hell you're getting into when somebody hands you this type of deal or that type of deal, or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I think it's going to be very helpful for you guys going forward. So, without no further ado, I want to continue the topic. We started talking about publishing deals and what those are. Then we kind of started talking about the different variations of publishing deals, right? We started off talking about high-level pub, then sub-pub, cold pub, all these different types of pubs. And now we're going to talk about the publishing deals that don't require you to give up any ownership. Now, if you haven't seen the other videos, I suggest you go back, check those out, so that you can understand where we are in the conversation now. If you already understand all the other type of stuff, then let's watch this video. Let's get into it. All right, jumping back in the box. So when it comes down to deals that don't require you to give up ownership, a lot of people don't like to give up ownership. The hard truth is, if you're new to the game, you don't provide a lot of value. Therefore, you give up ownership in exchange for your lack of value. If you want to add more value or you want to have a better deal, then add more value to yourself by creating revenue. Value is added by creating revenue. You're not hot unless you're creating revenue, right? Your record might be hot theoretically. It might be dope. Your song might be off the chain. People might love it. You might be the hottest person in your school, in your neighborhood, in your region, in your city. Right? But if the numbers aren't moving, if you're not seeing sales, if you're not seeing money come in from publishing, if you're not seeing all these other things, then you're not hot, bro. You're not hot, sis, right? So when it comes down to it, a lot of people are not seeing the value that you can add. Therefore, they put you in deals like publishing deals. If you add more value, you can get cold pub deals. If they don't see all the value, song deals. Now, in order to get a deal, that means you have value. It means you have potential value. It means I think I can make my money back on this artist. If I do some legwork, I can make my money back. That's the reason why I get a deal in the first place. But when you get the best deals, it's because the person goes, oh, I know I'm going to get my money back and I don't have to do nothing, right? A lot of times it's not the scenario. However, there are these two different types of agreements in the publishing world that do allow you, as a person that may not bring as much value as you'd like to bring, to still retain ownership of your material. What are they? One of them is called a licensing deal and the other one is called a admin deal. Now let me break these two down. These are two deals in the publishing world. So, a licensing deal is when you work with a licensor. A licensor is not a publisher. They're like freelance individuals. In every space in music, there's also a freelance person. So if there's A&Rs in the record labels, there's also freelance A&Rs that don't get a check from the record label, but just make their money by finding talent, bringing it to record labels and getting cuts and getting checks from all these different opportunities they bring in the door, right? Same thing happens with licensors. Licensors turn around and say, hey, look, I'm not with a major company, but however, you've seen my resume. Look at what I've done. I have a history of making sure records are cleared, finding the dopest records in individual cities. Normally, licensors have some type of niche in one or two particular markets. So a person says, hey, I'm trying to do music in Atlanta. I want that Atlanta sound. They know all the local independents that are doing something in Atlanta that have their ish together, and they can come to them and say, hey, this movie is coming out. I need X amount of records. They want to feel like this and they feel like this, and they can shop that music directly to the music supervisor. They also build relationships with music supervisors. I'll break down what a music supervisor is in another video, but they're basically the people that okay songs for these opportunities, right? They're the gatekeeper, the decision maker. So when it comes down to a licensor, their role is to find people, typically local individuals that fit the type of music that an opportunity is looking for. Opportunity being commercial, sporting event, television, movie, whatever B2B opportunity is coming in, they find that opportunity and then they find the local people that fit that opportunity so they can shop that. So what a licensor does, the deal for you guys and what that's going to look like, the licensor is going to sign you in some type of deal where you retain full ownership of all your copyrights, all of your intellectual property associated with your record. There's going to be a fee that you're giving up front. Remember how we talked about that in another video? You'll get a fee for a deal. Well, when you get a movie placement, they may come in and say, here's $5,000. They may come in and say, here's $10,000. Here's $20,000. Here's whatever the freak, right? If you're dealing with a licensor, it's probably not $200,000 deals because those are typically going to the major entities. But you can can gobble up a bunch of $20,000 deals and make a living, right? So maybe this is a $5,000 opportunity that's coming in. The licensor is going to say, hey, I want 30% of whatever I find. You give me the right to shop this record, and I'm going to go and shop the record, make the record make sense, as long as you've done your paperwork on the back end, because as a licensor, I'm not going to do that. If I want to just check and make sure that you did what you're supposed to do, I'm going to go out here and run around the world and try to shop these records. I have a whole catalog. As a licensor, they have a catalog of records from all these different artists, and they walk into a music supervisor's office or reach out to a music supervisor and say, hey, what are you looking for? And then send them a whole bunch of records that match. They make sure the metadata is right. They make sure all the paperwork, everything is right, and they get it over to the people, and it's normally done really fast. Normally when a deal comes through to a licensor, the person says, hey, I need something like this, I got 5 days. That's typically how it works. And so you don't have time to not have your ish together, because it's going to take more than 5 days a lot of times to get your ish together. So that's the reason why licensors are really on it when it comes to paperwork and making sure you're clear, because the moment that licensor does a deal with someone and they find out that the paperwork or whatever wasn't right, and now there's lawsuits, it's down to third, first off, the movie's going to kick the record, and they're going to look at the licensor like, who the F are you? You must not be good at what you do. Don't want to work with you no more. So that's a big deal. But that's how licensing deals work. You're typically going to do like 70-30 split. You typically keep 100% ownership. There's some licensing deals when they're bigger than others, and when they shop more than others, and when the company is just huge, they might want to take a little bit more in reference to some type of residuals. They might want 10% on the residuals after that or something of that nature. But it kind of depends. You've also seen licensing deals where they want a 50-50 split. It just depends on how big they are, what type of opportunities they're bringing. 50% of 10 deals is going to be way more valuable than 70% of 2 deals, especially if those 10 deals average 10,000 and those 2 deals average 5. So these are the type of things that you guys got to think about. Also, in reverse, if a company wants fit, if it's 2 deals at 20 and 10 deals at 5, you got to look at all these different things, do the math, think about what this organization has done, what they're capable of, and there's no promises in this. It's normally non-exclusive. I would always suggest doing non-exclusive when you're dealing with the licensor, because you don't want to cut yourself off from other money. Next, because I talked about that way too long. So next, let's go into publishing administration. A pub administrator is another type of deal where this person is not going to be all up in your pockets, all up in your ownership. What they are going to do is they're going to handle all your paperwork for you. They're going to handle all your paperwork so that the licensor doesn't have to worry about it. They're going to make sure that you're copywritten, that you're signed up with all the right PROs, that your records are the metadata is on your records and is trackable, that you're registered with like MediaBase and all those different people that are important in that space, that you're with Song Trust and not Song Trust, that you're with Sound Exchange and all these different things. They're going to make sure that you're on point. You know what I'm saying? The organization Song Trust is a publishing administrator on an internet scale, right? There's local publishing administrators, etc. Publishing administrators are basically just handling all of your paperwork in exchange for a fee that you typically pay them monthly or annually, and then they get some type of cut off of money that comes in based off of the records. Now the money that you give them off of the records is some type of a split, some type of percentage. Anytime you get a deal, they get a certain percentage of the money that comes in for handling all your paperwork and making sure that nothing is faulty to help get you the deals in the first place. The beauty of making sure that they have some type of percentage is that it inclines them to shop records as well. So just like a publishing company goes out and shops records, this publishing administrating company can go shop records too. A lot of times they're involved in all sorts of things like the Grammys and other different, they're publishing administrators. They deal with a lot of paperwork. They see what's coming in and what's going out. They know a lot of people in that space. They have their ears to the streets, if you will. They know what's coming down the pipeline, and they can help put you in situations to help get you more money, which gets them more money because they're getting a percentage. It's like getting a commission. You're encouraging them to sell you by giving them a percentage. And so that's how publishing administration works. There's a monthly or yearly fee associated with some type of ownership or a percentage of ownership. They don't own it like forever, but they have a commission off the sales, if you will, for anything that comes through, whether they found it or whether you found it, they're going to get that percentage regardless. And that's how that works. But if you fire them, kick them out your system or whatever, they have no ownership. It's just over for them. Depending on how long you signed a contract with them, you might have done a 3-year contract. At the end of that 3 years, if you cut them off, they do not get any more money off of anything that you've done. They retain no ownership. Whereas with a publishing deal, you may be finished with your contract. However, they're still going to retain ownership either in perpetuity or maybe for 20 years or for 30 years or whatever. And those deals alone, because they know that the real records start to make money, 20 years later, because, 10 to 20 years later. Why? Because when a song is hot for the first time and it blows up, all the kids love the song. The kids are 13 to 20 years old. These people are the ones that are super fans, right? For anywhere between 13 to 20, 22, you know all the songs you know all the lyrics to every new song that's coming out. You're a fan, you're debating, you're going back and forth with every other body in school or wherever, talking about who's the best rapper, who has the best bars, who has the right. At some point in your life, that crap doesn't matter no more. You start thinking about real life. You don't even know who's the hottest thing when they're coming out, right? Well, at some point in time, that 16-year-old kid, that 13-year-old kid, that 20-year-old kid is going to reach an age in which they can make purchases. That's not going to happen for another 10 to 20 years. At that point, they're going to bring all those records back from when that kid was passionate, and they're going to put them in commercials and put them in the ads, and it's going to bring back nostalgia and make that kid go, oh my God, I want to purchase this. And that's the reason why they're going to put you in publishing deals for such of a long time, because they want to make sure they get that long money, not just the immediate short money. Otherwise, what's the point of doing it? They're making investments on the future. So hopefully this made sense to you guys. That's this series. I'm concluding this series. I might do one more video where I just talk a bunch of additional information about all of this, but I might not. So like, subscribe, tell your friends about this, share. Like I said, we've done a whole series where we talked about this. This is the info packs on the website where we talked about this whole thing. You don't have to go get them. You don't have to check them out. But if you're interested in this type of stuff, then you probably should. www.phasevi.com is the website. You can go there. You can reach out to me directly. We have a phone number on the website now. You can shoot me a text directly. Like, subscribe, tell your friends. Tell your friends, like, subscribe. I don't know everything, but I know a lot about a little and a little about a lot. And when I get in front of this camera, I give you guys everything that I got. And I drop gems just all throughout this thing. Just gems, nuggets, just sprinkling. Salt Bay. I'm out, Phase 6.